Hello, everybody. This is a special recording in honor of the sacred holy day for Sri Radharani, which I believe is pronounced RADHASHTAMI. Is that correct?
I'm not sure.
You have no idea.
I don't, but in honor of Radha.
We are Westerners, obviously, and our pronunciation is probably very wrong. We apologize. We're wanting to learn more. But in honor of Radha, the divine feminine, the ultimate gopi, we are going to be watching and reacting to a video from our dear guru, Swami Mukundananda, as he talks about who is Sri Radha. So we can't wait to learn more. And for Westerners, it's hard for us to understand the difference between, what's the relationship between Radha Krishna? Are they one? Are they two parts that relate to each other? We're going to get an understanding from our spiritual master who is going to explain it all.
So looking forward to this. Let's get started.
Thousands of Lakshmis are Ansh of Radha. They have manifested from her. From the left side of Radharani, Mahalakshmi, the goddess of fortune, manifested. Atharvavediya Radhika Upanishad states, Anadirayam Purusham Ekamevasti Tadeva Rupam Dvidha Vidhaya Samaradhana Tatparo Bhutasmat Tam Radham Rasikanandam Veda Vido Vadanti. One divine entity has taken on two forms, Shaktiman and Shakti. The energetic and the energy, the source and its powers. Krishna, Radha, Shiv, Parvati, Ram, Sita, Narayan, Lakshmi, and so on. So the relationship between them is of Shaktiman and Shakti. They are, in a way, inseparable.
Isn't that majestic? Wonderful. You just have to pause and just marvel at the depth. It just shakes me so much. Because these limited human minds were so tiny and so feeble and it's so silly how much we think we know. And then we really know so little. And Swamiji just gave this very simple but heart-shaking reminder of this higher truth about the balancing of energies. So really opens me up when I breathe into this higher truth that there is one all-powerful that manifests in different energies, and Radha Krishna is of the same energy, like Sita and Ram, like Parvati and Shiv. The examples, it really helps me see, okay, we're going in this place. What a journey.
Just like you cannot, or can you, separate the whiteness from the milk? Impossible. The whiteness is one with the milk. Similarly, Radha and Krishna are eternally one. People ask, did they get married? It's always a mistake to evaluate the leelas of God with material intellect. Does God need to get married? They are the Shaktiman and Shakti. For our benefit, they may engage in worldly pastimes, but they are eternally beyond that. That is why the Ramayana says, Gira Arath Jal Biti Sam Kahiyat Bhinna Bhin. You may say, water and aqua pura, H2O, are two different words, but they refer to the same thing. Similarly, you can say that Sita and Ram are two different words, but they refer to the same divine entity. And just like the energetic takes on different forms, as Krishna, as Ram, as Narayan, as Shiv, as Nrsimha, etc., Similarly, that Shakti also takes on different forms. As Radha, Sita, Lakshmi, Kali, Durga, Parvati. That is why in the Brahma Vaivartak Puran, Sri Krishna is offering praises to Radharani. He says, Yatha tvam radhika devi goloke gokule tatha Vaikunthe cha mahalakshmi bhavati cha saraswati bhavati bharatya lakshmishcha kshirodashayina priya kapilasya priya kanta bharate bharati sati Dwaravatya mahalakshmi bhavati rukmini sati tvam sita mithilayancha tvanchaya draupadi sati ravanena rita tvancha ramasya kamini. Oh Radha.
I just want to pause right there for a second and say, we've probably watched hundreds of his satsangs.
Hundreds.
And been in the presence of his grace, physically taking darshan with Swamiji many times. And it boggles my human mind how he can quote from virtually any scripture, deep, lengthy portions throughout virtually every Vedic scripture. And it's effortless. And you can see that he's actually not coming from the intellect. He's somehow so deeply devoted and ascended that the scriptures just come pouring out of his mouth. I've never once in these years seen him stumble on a single line. When I order food at a restaurant, I stumble on a line. I can't even get that out. Somehow he has all of the Vedic scriptures flowing through him like Ganga. It's amazing.
It's truly a miracle, a saint in the form of a human man.
These are all your different forms. That divine Yog Maya energy has taken on all these different forms. Some people ask, why is it that in the Srimad Bhagavatam there is no mention of Radharani? The Bhagavatam is popular. It talks about the Sri Krishna Leela and it doesn't mention Radharani. The reason is Shukadev Ji, the speaker of the Bhagavatam, is the great devotee of Radharani. He is a Leela Shuk. He is a divine parrot in their pastimes. He has so much of love for Radha that if he takes the name Radha, he faints unconscious. Radha nama matrena murtha shan masiki bhave. He had to complete the Bhagavatam in 7 days. If he had fainted out there, the Bhagavatam would have remained incomplete. That is why he is avoiding to mention Radha, but he is indirectly mentioning her. Yam gopi manayat Krishna. When Krishna from the Ras Mandal disappeared with one gopi, the others are saying, this one gopi must have particularly worshipped Krishna. Anayaradhito nunam Bhagavan Haririshvaraha. This word comes anayaradhito. So indirectly he is mentioning Radha, but the intention is definitely there. And ultimately the Bhagavata.
How fascinating! I never heard that before. That's so interesting and stimulating and heart-opening about the speaker of the Bhagavatam being so enamored of Radha that he was trying to recount the Krishna Leelas and get them out, the speaker. But he couldn't, if he mentioned Radha, he would faint from the sheer force of the devotion, so he's just indirectly mentioning her. That's so fascinating. I just want to pause here and ask something of Jared, because I think it would be really illustrative. Do you ever have trouble imagining Radha and Krishna as having descended on earth when we learn about this truth that they came in a different age to do these leelas. Is it ever challenging for you?
It's challenging for my limited human intellect, and it was also raised in this Western world in the United States, and I know it to be true, and I trust nothing more than Swamiji's words in the depths of the Vedas as well. And my very limited human intellect sometimes struggles with truly grasping it. So absolutely. What about you?
I appreciate you sharing that, because for me it's the same. And this morning I do a morning practice called Morning Gems with Swamiji, and it's this live community where you can get on Zoom from anywhere in the world. It's 5:30 a.m. for Pacific time, so it's quite early. But we were talking about surrender this morning, and in advance of this holy day to honor Radha, I was thinking about how I think of her in Krishna, but I sort of think about the divine couple in an abstract way, like they didn't really exist. And I just have to be honest about that it's more this like abstract fairy tale than a real descending onto earth. And at this time, I've just given a little challenge to myself to just as an experiment to open my heart and certainly open my mind and intellect and just say, let me take on that they descended, that they were here. And in a different age, humans could interact with them and see them. And all of a sudden, if I really accept that as truth, that they were here, I become completely awestruck. So it was just a practice that I thought, for me, I'm still learning and growing, and I'm just struggling with it, although I do have the utmost wish that it would come true, that I could fully surrender. So it's a work in progress.
I love that practice. I'm going to try to implement that.
Is written by Ved Vyas. This is not the only Purana that Ved Vyas wrote. Apart from the Bhagavatam, Ved Vyas has written 17 more, in all 18 Purans. In 6 of them, he talks about Radhaji. The Padma Puran says, Lakshasha Kamala Dasya. Thousands of Lakshmis are Ansh of Radha. They have manifested from her. In the Narad Puran, he says, Radha Vamancha Sambhuta Mahalakshmi Prakirtita. From the left side of Radharani, Mahalakshmi, the goddess of fortune, manifested. In the Adi Puran, Ved Vyas writes, Tatrapi Radhika Shashvat. In the Matsya Puran, he says, Rukmini Dwaravatyancha Radha Vrindavane Vane. In the Devi Bhagavat Puran, he says, Radhnoti Sakalan Kaman Tena Radha Prakirtita. In the Brahma Vaivarta Puran, Ved Vyas writes, Adau Radham Samucharya Paschat Krishnam Parat Param. First worship Radha and then worship Krishna. So there are so many pramans in the scriptures of the Radha Tattva. But some people still remain unconvinced. They say the ultimate authority.
How can you be unconvinced after that explanation? I'm sorry. Okay, but let's go to hear his next level of convincing.
Are the Vedas. If Radha Tattva is there, the Vedas should also mention it. The fact is, the Vedas do mention it. Idam hyanvo jasa sutam radhanam pate pivatvasya girvana. Radhanam vibhaktaram havamahe vasoschitra radhasa savitaram nrichakshasam. During the Maharaj, Sri Krishna took Radharani and went away. The Vedas are saying. And if some Pandit says, no, the word Radha here means something else, there is another mantra to testify Tvam Richaksham Vrishabhanu Purvi Krishna Swagne Arusho Vivahi. Here Radha is referred to as the daughter of Vrishabhanu. Now there is no scope for interpretation. It is the Radha Tattva that is being referred to in all these scriptures. So the Radha Tattva is Sanatana or eternal, like the Krishna Tattva. She is the Yoga Maya Shakti, the divine power. The Maya Shakti, we all know. The material energy is Maya. This is insentient. It doesn't have consciousness. And the other is the Yoga Maya. That is the all-powerful Shakti. The all-powerful Shakti Yoga Maya is such that God remains in bliss by virtue of it. He is taking care of all the works of the world and he is still in his bliss. How does he do it? That Yoga Maya. And by power of Yoga Maya, he is creating his divine abode, Golok. By the power of Yoga Maya, he is doing his Leelas. That is why when the Maharas was to begin, the Bhagavad says, Bhagavan Apitaratrihi Yoga Maya Mubashrita. To do the Yoga Maya, first of all, Sri Krishna took shelter of Radha. Radhaji, I don't have any powers. The power is you. If I need to do anything, I will need your help. Viksharantum Manaschakre. So, with the help of Yoga Maya, he created a mind. And then the Leela began.
What a perfect video to share and to learn from on the great celebration of Radha, Radhashtami. Did I say that right?
I'm not sure.
Okay. In the comments, tell me if I said it right. But the divine energy and her divine energy that is spread throughout the world and also manifests, I think, in humans. I feel Radha in you as well from the first time I met you. And it kind of filled my heart and my soul with something I've been missing my whole life.
I can't speak now. We just want to thank you all so much. We're so touched by all your lovely comments. And for those of you who are watching and commenting and subscribing, our hearts are so full. It's so wonderful to meet you and be on this journey with you. Thank you for being with us. And we really look forward to hearing from you and continuing to learn and grow together.
Jai Shri Radhe!